What's going on, guys? This is RJ Game News USA here, and today I want to go over the review scores for NHL 26. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, if I'd appreciate it. But anyway, NHL 26 did not get a lot of media coverage. In fact, it kind of fell under my radar even, and I forgot to even cover it myself. But apparently it has a 74 on Metacritic on 20 reviews. We have 12 positive and 8 mixed. So it's clearly a mixed bag. Kind of a low score. But let's see what the reviewers had to say. Starting with Game Blast with an 85, saying NHL 26 is excellent in many ways. Whether you're a newcomer to the rink or someone like me who hasn't touched a title in the series since the first PlayStation. Wow. So we got a returner. You know, when you leave sports games for a while and you come back, it always feels better. It's like you're refreshed in the series. So I think that's what happened here with this reviewer. How about an 80 from Gaming Bolt, saying there's a lot to love about this year's NHL game, from the redesigned Be a Pro mode to the enhanced NHL Edge authenticity. It's a notable step from the previous years. All right. Eurogamer Portugal with an 80 says NHL 26 faces many of the same problems as EA Sports' other two sports series, such as pleasing both hardcore and casual fans by dividing its focus across multiple modes. Yeah, that would be a negative, but you still gave it an 80. Figure Guns with an 80, saying NHL 26 is a terrific iteration of the series, bringing together immersive in-depth gameplay thanks to the IceQ 2.0 AI system. Ooh, interesting. I'd like to know more about that. Loot Level Chill with an 80, saying EA Sports NHL 26 has made some big improvements to gameplay that become more noticeable over time, with a new Be a Pro mode that is better than before. So we've heard that praised twice about the Be a Pro mode. So keep an eye on that. Tech Radar Gaming with an 80, saying NHL 26 is the best ice hockey game you can buy. Well, geez, no shit. You have no competition. So I'll skip over the rest of their review because that's sort of idiotic. That'd be like saying Madden's the best football game you can buy. No shit. But why, though, with an 80, says NHL 26 brings new gameplay changes that bring hockey to life in a new way that is better than ever. There are still some things to be ironed out, a typical issue for yearly sports releases, but there is a lot of fun to be had for hockey fans everywhere. And we have an 80 from PSX Brazil, saying NHL 26 is a fun game that does enough to bring hockey titles in line with the achievements seen in EA's latest sports games. All right, to the 70s now. We have Impulse Gamer with a 78, saying now featuring an enhanced X Factor system and NHL Edge integration, NHL 26 improves over NHL 25, and emphasis on individual player tendencies. A 77 from Games.ch says NHL 26 refines its gameplay with the IceQ 2.0 system and a stronger Be a Pro mode. Boom! That is 3 times we've heard about the Be a Pro mode being a positive, and twice we've heard about the IceQ 2.0 system. Spazio Games with a 75, saying NHL 26 isn't a perfect entry, let's be clear, but it's a true starting point to relaunch the brand towards new quality standards. I wonder how bad NHL 25 was, I can't remember. Game Smurf with a 75, saying overall NHL 26 presents itself as a title that marks a necessary step in the right direction. However, the game is not without flaws, and the overall picture is a mix of innovation and stagnation. Now we're going to do scores that are below the overall 74, and they are mixed. Starting with the Games Machine with a 72, excuse me, saying NHL 26 delivers a mixed experience. The game shows flashes of brilliance thanks to a solid gameplay rhythm and a fair amount of on-ice spectacle, but it's still weighed down by a range of persistent issues. These flaws, while sometimes minor, can become increasingly annoying. Interesting. Hardcore Gamer with a 70 saying NHL 26 adds welcome touches to the major overhaul about NHL 25. A majority of the game does carry over for better or for worse, but the updates to the Ice Cube 2.0 gameplay do make a difference this year. That is the third time we've heard about the Ice 2.0 cube thing, so that seems to be a big win there. GameSpew with a 70 saying with a number of improvements such as new goalie crease system and NHL Edge data, that's the third time we've heard that, being used to enhance player behavior, NHL 26 is undoubtedly a great hockey game. Well, they still only give it a 70, so I don't know how great that is. Game Liner with a 70 saying NHL 26 is the best hockey experience right now, but it feels more like an upgrade from NHL 25 than a true overhaul. You know, most of the time the sports games do. When you iterate from year to year, most of the time you're getting most of the same game. I will say I really enjoyed the jump from Madden 25 to 26. I think that's a clear jump for me, personally. COG Connected with a 70, saying NHL 26 is not a game that reinvents the wheel, nor does it shed the criticisms leveled at its annual predecessors. However, it represents a decent step forward in key areas. The refinements to puck physics and skating mechanics are substantial. And that's good, because honestly, it seems like hockey should have a lot of minute physics to consider, but you also have to balance that with the fun of the gameplay as well, and the simplicity of the gameplay. And also, you know, you want a competitive balance. Digital Chumps with the 70. So NHL 26 is a revamp and refresh. However, to me, it's an incredibly hard game to justify buying from last year's installment. In the game's defense, I would argue those against those who online say this is just a glorified roster update. Yeah, clearly they did more than it just being a glorified roster update. Steve Yer with a 65 says hockey is family, hockey is life, hockey is the source of joy, NHL 26 less so. For all the good it does, this is an off year. This is certainly no NHL 17. I hope for more. Steve Yer, I love the enthusiasm, but I hate your review because it's very shallow without actually describing anything about the game whatsoever. You should probably seek other employment, and I should probably take your job at Steve Yer. Let's be honest. I could do a better review than that. Shaq News with the low score of 50, saying reviews aren't the place to weigh in on how to fix things, so I won't do that here. Time out, pause. I have never, in all my years reading reviews, ever heard a reviewer say, reviews aren't the place to weigh in on how to fix things, so I won't do that here. This is exactly where you weigh in on how to fix things. This is exactly where you level your criticisms about how things could be better. What the fuck are they talking about? Let's continue the review. Deep down, I hope the developers who are making this are kicking down Electronic Arts CEO's Andrew Wilson's door, asking for more time, budget, or anything really. So, let me get this straight. Shaq News thinks that it's not their place to weigh in on how things could be better in a video game when they review video games for a living. But they want the fucking employees to knock down Andrew Wilson's door, the CEO of EA Arts, demanding money. So they want people to commit acts of violence, but they can't weigh in or give actual criticism of the game. They just want the developers to go demand more money by force. You are fucking stupid. Shaq News, you are fucking dumb. I hope if I ever catch you in one of these reviews again, I just skip right over you, honestly. That's the dumbest shit I've heard, and you ended up giving it a 50 anyway. So I'm throwing your review out. Anyway, guys, besides the end there, that wasn't too bad. Hit the like button and leave a comment below. I'll see y'all later.